Dakota Johnson expresses her love for Jamie Dornan after dating Sam Heughan. The world sees only the headlines. They see the pictures from Rome, the laughter, the gentle touches, the sunlight that makes everything simple. What they don't see is the silence that follows. The long evenings Dakota Johnson spends by the window, phone face down, a storm of thoughts she can't name. Because she's learning to move on, which doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying something tender without letting it break her. The weight of a new beginning. The night she returned from Italy, Los Angeles was quiet. The city had its own loneliness, neon lights reflecting off wet sidewalks, the smell of rain mixed with gasoline, the endless noise filling the space between thoughts. Sam Heughan flew back to Scotland to film. He kissed her at the airport, his voice low and sure. "You make me feel seen." She smiled, she meant it, but something in her chest tightened, not with doubt, but with memory. That night, alone in her house, Dakota left the lights off. She poured herself a glass of wine and sat by the window, where the city glittered like an ocean made of strangers. On the coffee table was an unopened script, and next to it a photo she hadn't put away, a behind-the-scenes shot of 50 Shades, her and Jamie Dornan laughing between takes, neither of them aware that anyone had taken it. She traced the outline of his face with her thumb, the familiar line of his jaw, the warmth of his eyes, the comfort that had once calmed her in the chaos. "I'm happy now," she whispered to herself. So why does it still hurt? When love becomes history. Jamie and Dakota have always existed in that strange, gray space between reality and fiction. On screen, their intimacy is almost too real. Off screen, their relationship is a refuge, two people holding their sanity amid a storm of lighting, script, and expectation. They promised to stay professional. And they did. Mostly. But what no one understood, fans or press, was how much faith existed in those performances. The kind of faith that binds, even when you say goodbye. When the film ends, so do the daily conversations. But their silence isn't an absence, it's a preservation. Sometimes, silence is the only way to preserve something sacred. Until now. Now Sam was there, kind, warm, steady in a way Jamie never was. With Sam, there were no ghosts, no comparisons, no cameras rewinding the past. Just a fresh start. Yet Dakota found herself caught in that silent contradiction, her mind always moving forward, her heart always staying behind. An unexpected confession. A few weeks later, Vanity Fair asked her to appear on the cover. The editor hinted at discussing her new love, her new chapter, after years of speculation. Dakota hesitated, then agreed, not because she wanted fame, but because she wanted to stop hiding from the truth. When the reporter asked about Sam, she smiled softly. "He's amazing. He makes life easier. I'm learning to laugh again." Then came the question she knew would come. "What about Jamie Dornan? What does he mean to you now?" The room fell silent. Dakota looked down at her hands, bare except for the thin silver ring she always wore, the one Jamie had once given her as a prop but never asked for in return. "Jamie," she said slowly, "is a part of my history that I will always carry. We went through something big together. It changed both of us." Her voice trembled slightly. "People think chemistry is just attraction, but it's also trust. He saw me when I was scared, when I doubted myself. He helped me be brave in front of the camera, and kind when the world wasn't. That kind of connection doesn't go away, it just changes shape." The interviewer asked gently, "Do you still love him?" Dakota smiled, sad and beautiful. "Not the same anymore, but yes, I love him. I think a part of me always will. It's not romantic anymore, it's grateful. The kind of feeling that stings when you remember." Between two worlds. After the interview, Dakota drove along the Pacific Coast Highway, the ocean beside her. She rolled down the window, letting the wind dull her thoughts. She wasn't sure what she wanted anymore. Sam had brought light to her days, laughter to her nights. But there was a quiet part of her that still spoke of memory, something Jamie had helped her learn. To Sam, love was peaceful, leisurely, like dawn. To Jamie, it was like a fire, burning, impossible, and terrifyingly intense. And though she didn't remember the chaos, sometimes she remembered the spark. At a red light, her phone rang. A text from Jamie. Seen the interview. Thank you for saying the kind things. It meant more than he thought. She read it twice, her heart clenching in that old, familiar way. The reply came slowly. You deserve kindness, Jamie. You always do. No more, no less. Just enough to acknowledge what happened. What Sam knows. Sam had never been the jealous type. He knew Dakota's past, the myths surrounding her and Jamie. It was impossible not to know. But he also knew what kind of woman she was. Fiercely loyal, quietly brave, incapable of faking affection. One evening, they sat together on the balcony of his house in Edinburgh. The sunset tinged the sky crimson. She came to visit him between photo shoots, wrapped in his sweater, her hair tousled by the wind. He asked her gently, "Does it bother you, all that talk about him again?" She sighed. "Not anymore, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it sometimes. Not about him, really, just who I was when we worked together." Sam nodded, reaching out to take her hand. "You're allowed to remember without having to go back." She looked at him, grateful. "You're too good for me." He smiled. "Maybe I only understand broken things. Everyone has ghosts. I am not afraid of yours." In that moment, she realized what made this love different. Sam didn't want to erase her past. He wanted to hold her hand through it all. Letters never sent. After returning to Los Angeles, Dakota found herself writing again. Not scripts, not interviews, letters. She didn't intend to send them. She simply wanted to send messages to a place other than her chest. Dear Jamie. Sometimes I watch old videos of us and forget where the scene ends. Maybe that's what makes it dangerous, how real it all feels. I want you to know that I am happy. But happiness isn't amnesia. I still remember the day you made me laugh between takes when I was crying. I remember you saying, "We're safe, no matter how the world looks." And for a while, I believed it. Thank you for teaching me that love can survive in broken pieces. That even when it's broken, it's not gone. She folded the paper and put it in a drawer, next to a photo from the set. The photo she could never throw away. Jamie's name in the wind. Some days, Dakota would hear his name by accident, a new movie title, an award nomination, an interview clip where he smiled shyly, carefully. She was no longer shy. Instead, she found herself quietly rooting for him. That was the difference now. The love was gentler, almost parental. A wish for peace for someone, even if not for herself. She once told a friend, "You don't stop caring about someone just because you don't love them the same way." Her friend asked, "Does Sam know how much space Jamie still occupies in your heart?" Dakota smiled. "Yes. And he wasn't afraid of it." It was a miracle, really. One man gave her the courage to love, and another man gave her the safety to heal. The interview that rocked the internet. When the Vanity Fair interview finally came out, the world exploded. Fans dissected every quote, every pause, every sigh. Dakota still loves Jamie. She admits she can't get over him. Sam Heughan's reaction to Dakota's confession stunned Hollywood. The noise was deafening. But Dakota doesn't regret her honesty. The truth doesn't hurt, hiding it is the scary part, she told a close friend. She and Sam weathered the storm together. They laughed at memes, ignored tabloids, and held hands through the chaos. But deep down, Dakota felt something calm settle inside her, like a book finally finding its way back to its shelf. The call that changed everything. 2 months later, she was in New York, getting ready for a movie premiere, when the phone rang with a familiar name. Jamie Dornan. Her heart skipped a beat, but she answered. "Hey," he said. His voice was the same, calm, even, with that Irish warmth that melted even the hardest truths. "Hey," she replied softly. There was a pause, the kind that often falls between two people too well versed in history to waste words. "I just want to thank you," he said finally, "for the way you spoke of me. It means a lot, more than I can say." She swallowed. "You deserve to be honest." He chuckled. "You're always too brave for this business." They talked for a few minutes, about movies, family, the weather in Ireland. Before hanging up, Jamie whispered, "I am happy for you, Dakota. I really am." And she believed him. When the call ended, she sat quietly, letting its warmth linger like sunlight through glass. It wasn't longing. It wasn't regret. It was closure, soft, real, and deserved. Home. Back in Scotland, Sam found her sitting outside, wrapped in a blanket, looking up at the stars. He sat next to her, offering her tea instead of asking. After a while, she said, "I talked to Jamie today." He nodded. "How are you feeling?" She smiled softly, relieved, like I can breathe again. Sam leaned back, looking at her in the dim light. "Good," he said, "you deserve to be relieved." They sat there for a long time, listening to the wind in the trees. For the first time in years, Dakota no longer felt divided between past and present. She just felt whole. Her last words about Jamie. A few months later, in another interview, Dakota was asked one last time if she and Jamie would ever work together again. She smiled. "If the right story came to us, maybe. But even if it didn't, we lived a story that no script could ever equal." Then, as if on cue, she added, "He was my teacher of vulnerability, and you never forget your teacher." The interviewer asked her what she learned most from him. Dakota paused, her eyes softening as if in reminiscence. "That real connection never ends. It just changes shape. We learn love, and then we learn distance. And both lessons saved us." Epilogue. Calm after the storm. On a quiet morning in Malibu, Dakota walked along the beach barefoot, the Pacific Ocean cold and silver around her ankles. Sam had run up the shore, she could see his silhouette in the fog. In her hand was a small white stone she had found years before while filming in Vancouver, the same year she and Jamie had first met. She turned it over, smiled, and gently tossed it into the ocean. "Thank you," she whispered. Not for him, not for anyone in particular, but for time itself. Because she had finally understood that love wasn't about possession or permanence. It was about transformation, the courage to let someone shape you, then release them. As the tide came in, she closed her eyes and felt the salty wind kiss her face, washing away what she no longer needed. Behind her, Sam called her name, his laughter echoing in the morning air. She turned, smiled, really smiled, and walked toward him. The past wasn't gone, it simply no longer demanded her attention. And for the first time, Dakota Johnson felt that rarest thing in Hollywood, peace.